So the next presenter here, this is, and I'm not trying to sound facetious or anything, I'm truly humbled and honored to have this person because this has been someone who I've been in, believe it or not, I've been in the whole IM business, online business thing since 2005. I guess from some people's standards, I'm getting a little old school, but there's still people that have always, followed, listened to, looked up to, admired, and always thought, oh, it'd be cool to be able to work with this person. And to actually have this person speaking at an event I'm holding is very, very cool. And this is a person who, everyone that I know that knows this person, and who I'm talking about here is Andy Jenkins. And if anyone doesn't know Andy Jenkins, everyone that I've ever talked to about him has nothing but positive things to say about him. Mr. Jeff Walker, if you know who he is, says he is one of the most outrageous speakers. You guys are in for a treat right now, and the content that he's going to be sharing is so relevant to selling on Amazon. You're going to absolutely love it. So if I could please have everyone give a roaring welcome to Mr. Andy Jenkins.
You guys are great, thank you. And that's my presentation. We're good to go with the super duper slides, and this is the next button. You know how, you may have seen this, speakers sometimes come on stage and they spend about 20 minutes throat clearing, talking about themselves, right? Okay, that's what's next. So let's begin. Hi. My name is Andy Jenkins. And that's enough of that. So I have a question here. How many of you guys would consider yourselves to be entrepreneurs? By show of hands. Right on. Yeah, and we can do a little hand. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, right on. All right, and since I'm in an interactive mood, my next question for you is, how many of you have ever tried to lose weight? Look around, keep them up, look around. Isn't that every damn day? Isn't that just weird? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the basis of what I want to talk to you about today. How are we supposed to target our markets? If I'm trying to sell a product for weight loss, should I go and find every Canadian and Texan who is giving an internet marketing seminar or selling physical product seminar and come up in front of a crowd that basically wants to lose weight and say, hey, I know you're here to sell shit online, but I've got this great book that's going to teach you how to lose weight? Doesn't seem like a very efficient way to do it. So how can we do that? And that's really what I want to talk about today, because you know what? We've got some challenges in our business. So for example, when traffic comes to us from the Google, we have no idea what they're really searching, do we? When traffic comes to us from that other place, Amazon, where they actually enter search information in there, we don't get that metric. We don't know why they're there. And then what about when they're actually there? This one's for the ladies, by the way. You're welcome. You know, customers who viewed this item also viewed, by the way, I did not have to actually log out of my browser to look at this. And then, of course, there's the customers who bought something that's appeared in our shopping cart. So we don't know what their agenda is. And then there's this one too, guys. What about frequently bought together? You can really tell a lot by a man's browser history and Amazon stuff, can't you? This is a big old fail. Note to self. I know, right? I couldn't have picked something up like testosterone replacement therapy. Okay, so with that said, what we do sometimes is we fall back on these exercises, right? Has anybody ever said, let's do the My Target Market exercise, right? Have you ever done the My Target? Should I just skip these slides then? You know you have, right? And here's what I mean. The My Target Market exercise is something like this, right? Age 37 to 30, or 27 to 34, bachelor's degree, usually married, income between $44,000 a year and $65,000 a year, blah, 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 2.4 children, right? We kind of are told that maybe that's what we should do in order to figure out what our message should be. And then, if that doesn't work, we do the My Customer Avatar exercise, right? where we actually personify our customer. We give them some sort of presence in our lives so that when we're doing our marketing and writing our copy and doing our advertising, we can speak directly to them. So that might look something like this. Jake. There's a little double entendre there. He's a lab technician, former military, married to high school sweetheart, makes $64,000 a year, enjoys hiking, camping, and horseback riding, also 2.4 children. Help me out here. Have you guys ever done anything like this to try to figure out what you're marketing? Okay, good. A couple of you. And I'm just going to assume nobody else does marketing, which is fine. Or you're all liars. Here's the thing. I want you to stop doing that. I want you to stop doing any target identification in your business right now. Because if you're doing it, you are causing your business to be suboptimal. End of case. I know this from being suboptimal most of my life. I know what the feeling sounds like. Okay, so here's what I mean. Have you ever heard the one about the government? So in the year 2000, the US Census Bureau wanted to do statistical sampling to do the census. Anybody know what that is? Basically, they're gonna count some of us and take the average. And then they're gonna figure out what they should give us with all the taxes that we pay. And so in order to validate this theory of statistical sampling for 250 million people, they approached some academics for feedback. So are there any professors or former professors here with us today? Oh, fantastic. You guys can help me validate the type of language that's used in these sort of feedbacks. So they approached two people, one in particular, David Friedman, who's a PhD from the University of Berkeley, and he basically said, "You cray-cray." That's what they say, right? You guys can give me the nod on that, the sign off? The professors say yes. So I am an authority in this. And then the government, kind of shocked and taken aback, said, "What you mean anyhow?" So then David responded, "There is no such thing as 2.4 children. Foo." Here's what's interesting about this. Anybody ever seen the statistic 2.4 children? Yeah, right? David Friedman said this is untenable, and he decided to leak this false formula to the world. And what happened is some of the idiots over at AIG decided that this was gold. This formula that the US Census Bureau had spent $4 billion to validate. They're just like, it's government, it's open source. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna start offering it to my clients. So we started seeing in about the year 2001, 2.4 children, 3.6 children. This was David Friedman trying to say, this is the stupidest thing that the government's done in a long time, and trust me, they had a track record to talk about. It got so bad that they actually, David and another fellow from the University of Cornell, said that this needs to go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, in one of its finer moments of intelligence, actually shot it down. And yet, marketers are teaching other marketers to look at customer profiles. And so here's the point. No, you actually are not selling to a person. At this point, I'm hoping for a Can I have that piece of video? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Jenkins drops his pants. Okay, so then if we are not selling to a person, who are we selling to? And that's what I want to talk about. All right. I have a very particular set of skills. When I was a young man, I sought the advice of a particular government agency. Hoorah? Anyone? Yeah? Hoorah! And as it turns out, there was a particular aptitude that I had in that government agency. My superiors, recognizing this aptitude, decided that they would like to nurture this particular attitude and put me into additional education, where after a great deal of effort, I was granted introduction to a very elite group of individuals, which found, thank you, sir. We later found ourselves in the desert. So here's the thing about United States Marine Corps recon scout snipers. They are the equivalent of a Delta Ranger, Navy SEAL, whatever it is that you want. Don't let the appearance fool you. I've got a shrewd mind. I will kick your ass in dominoes. But here's something that, believe it or not, when at the tender age of 18, I now look back on this experience and say, this is a good marketing philosophy. Hoorah! Your target is simply the destination for a payload. It plays only a small role in determining your accuracy. All right, so here's what I mean by that, guys. The target is the target. On the other hand, the sniper's position is critical. We have to think about things like elevation. We have to think about things like wind speed, humidity, barometric pressure, 1 milrad versus 3.4 versus 3.6 minute of angle, which is a fancy way of saying bullet drop according to sight picture, which I guess is a fancy way of saying gravity. Federal 175 grain versus 168 grain. Unofficial quality of ammo lot. You see, my spotter would take any new ammo and he'd go out and he'd put about 15 shots down range to determine whether it was a hot load or a cold load, because that'll affect how fast a bullet goes. And then there's something called autokinesis, which is involuntary movements in your eye. When you're sitting in cover looking at a sight for about 3.5 hours, your eye starts to twitch. Can you believe it? And what happens is your body tries to react and compensate for that by twitching as well. And then there's something called the Coriolis effect. Now I'm going to brag a little bit. The Coriolis effect. Anybody here know what the Coriolis effect is? Well, put your hand down. Just pretend this is all new information. Okay, so we all are on the planet Earth, and fortunately, at least today, until the next presidential election, the planet Earth is still spinning. If you're standing on the equator, what happens is you're actually traveling at about 1,041 miles per hour. This shit's fast. So here's what happens. If, old cousin Andy and his M40 is down here at the equator, and the paper target is north of me, as it turns out, I'm actually moving faster than the paper target. In the time it takes the payload to travel 1,000 yards, I have moved 1,526.8 feet east. My target has moved 1,526.3 feet east. Essentially what that means is that bullet goes, even if I'm aimed straight at it. Now, to bake your noodle, what happens if I'm aiming northeast or northwest? Good luck with that. Here's my point, guys. It's not about my target, okay? It's not about the person. It is about the circumstance that I am in that governs most of my accuracy. And this is what we need to start thinking about when we are marketing. So now, let's actually talk about how we can do that. No, you are not selling to a person. You are selling to solve a circumstance. This is your marketing. I realize that we've been here 12 minutes and you are now starting to write and take notes. That makes my heart glad. How can we do this? We have to show our customer that our product can improve their circumstance. That is our only mandate. That is our only mission. No matter what we do with our marketing, here's how we're going to do this. So, January 1st, 2013, this is my reality. I weighed 262 pounds. My blood pressure was 145 over 87. My cholesterol was 347. Apparently, it's a high number is good. Which made me really happy when I saw my triglycerides, which were just off the charts. Hell yeah. Who's the man? Like a boss. So the circumstances I was in equals dire. Can I get a witness? Amen. Anybody here got those things? See me after. All right. So now, this is also my reality. This is my fantasy reality. It's very pretty, isn't it? Yes. It's like Garfield or Scooby-Doo. 3 things on this slide I want you to pay attention to. The left side of the river itself, and the right side of the river. These are going to be reoccurring themes in everything that you do from marketing from now on. I know that you don't believe me. You will in a minute. The promise of the premise is the most important mission statement you need to articulate in your business. Does anyone here know what it means? Does anyone here have a mission statement for their business? Does anyone here have a mission statement for your product? No? Let me show you how to do this. Let's first of all dissect this sentence. The premise is, sorry guys, the features of your product that make success possible. Think about your features in your product, not what color it is, not necessarily how much it weighs, but do they contribute to the success of your customer using them? This is your secret sauce. Doesn't matter whether or not you are selling the little sleep masks or you're selling something more sophisticated. You have to articulate this. Now, on the other hand, there is the promise. Folks, all marketing, all media is about making a promise to your customer. The promise is a little bit different. It is life after the customer has used your product successfully. Successfully. Life after. Not while they're doing it. What is their life like after? So in my reality, my life after 268 pounds, blood pressure 145/87, cholesterol of 347, triglycerides of 18 billion. After I successfully use the product, my weight is 206 pounds. My blood pressure is 120/65. My resting heart rate is 62. My cholesterol is 161. My triglycerides are down beneath 200. That's successful. Aw, you saw it. Okay, so that's successful. What's my life like after? That's the thing that will bake your noodle. What happens after you reach success? Do we tell our customers what it's gonna be like once we've solved their problems? Not usually, and that's what we need to start doing. Because we want them to know what it's gonna be like when they are living in the promised land. Hallelujah. So, on the left side of the river and the right side of the river, the right side is the promised land. It's a beautiful city. It's clean, it's magnificent. It's where everybody is thin, where you can eat anything that you want. It's where you have money that you can spend recklessly. It's where the men are easy. Well, it's not much of a fantasy. It's where a Prius goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat. That's where we want to get, right? We want to take our customer to the promised land. And then over here, we've got our dude. This is our customer. He's way back there. And I don't know if you can see, but he's not even looking at the promised land because he's in something called circumstance number 1. This is where I break this down. It's codification time, everyone. And that rolled off the tongue sweet. Here's the thing, though. It's not just him spotting the promised land and then getting across that river. You see, the river is fraught with danger. There's like icebergs in that river and whirlpools and angry sharks and, the Kraken is on there. And it's not just the river he's got to get across. If you get on the wrong part of the river, there's going to be like a gator or worse, Hare Krishna. Are we keeping track of the number of people I'm offending in this presentation? How are we doing? Well, 17. I better start saying fuck more. Okay. How you doing? You all right? Security
invited
guards
them.
left when they found out I was a Marine. That's right, bitches. Circumstance. This circumstance, number one. Let's talk about what that means because this is part of your message. Our dude, circumstance number one, is in a state of why. He needs to understand this problem. Why am I in this circumstance? So when I'm staring there looking at my blood report, going, how completely screwed am I? After that shock left, I wanted to understand how it happened. You have customers like that. You have people that are in that state. All right, so here's what your message should be. You want to create awareness about the problem. And in order to do that, you're going to give them information. So for example, this combination of symptoms, which I call the high scorecard, is most often caused by intolerance of animal-based proteins, fat, and processed foods. So now I know. Now I'm going from circumstance number 4, where I'm not even looking for a solution, to the next circumstance because I am educated. I know what is bothering me. Circumstance number 4, these are the biggest part of your market, folks. They are also the hardest to close, and they are the most expensive to advertise to. Anybody here familiar with the term search engine optimization? Okay, how about the long tail keyword? Yeah, a couple people? All right, this is not long tail search. This is like the search phrase new car. Anybody here got wireless device, want to go to Google AdWords and find out how much it is to advertise for new car? That's what these guys are looking for. They're looking for, why am I about to die? We have to identify the enemy in this stage. We have to tell them what is causing their problem. Because unfortunately, in the whole of human experience, guess what? We never want to take the blame. Can I get a witness? So let's blame someone else. It's the animal protein, and it's the fat. Oh God, who would have thought that that would have been the problem? So we need to identify the enemy for these folks. Now, this person has become more educated, right? He's now a little bit closer to the river. He can see the promised land, and he can also anticipate what the journey might be like to get there. The river exists, but maybe he doesn't have a real understanding of the evil Krishnas that stand in his way. So this is circumstance number 2. Circumstance number 2 is a state of what? And this is where our state of what is. This could be a solution. That's what our customer is saying to themselves. What makes this solution my best option is the next thing that they ask. So I'm standing there, having lit my scorecard on fire and decided that I know what's causing me this weight gain, blood pressure, cholesterol. And I started to do my research. And I started to recognize that there may be a formula that's going to help me to solve this problem. So as marketers, we need to describe that formula. This type of diet causes the body to react immediately, burning abnormal fat, triggering fullness, and absorbing vitamins and minerals that reverse premature aging. Right? See, we've described the formula that makes this work. Now we've become even more educated, which means that we can move on to the next level. Our job here is to not only tell them why it works, but why it's better than everything else. Okay, back at the river, we now encounter circumstance number 3. This guy's right on the edge. He knows he wants to take the journey. In fact, if you can see there, he's even got one toe in the water. He's dabbling. So in circumstance number 3, we are in a state of how. Our customer is asking, how am I supposed to do this? How can I do this? In fact, I kind of want to try it out. I kind of want to prove it to myself. So how can I make this work for me? Which means we have to be there to answer that question, which means that we have to be able to say to them, here is the action that you are going to take. You can create sustainable weight loss by first consuming a fat-calorie ratio of 1 to 4 and make sure there's nothing refined, enriched, bleached, etc. We are asking how we can get results even before we buy it. Some of you might recognize this. It's called results in advance. And then finally, circumstance number 4. This is me. I have destroyed a beaver dam, and with bungee cords, fashioned myself a raft where I've gotten a piece of sheet off a clothesline, I've built myself a boat, and I'm going for it. I'm going across the river, y'all. The problem is I really don't know what I'm doing, and as I get there, bad stuff starts to happen. And, we're not bad enough, I start to sink, and the creatures are closing in. And then I discover that the Hare Krishnas are actually badass ninja supermen that don't like that I'm talking about them during this presentation. This is circumstance number 4. This is a state of now. I'm trying to do it, but it's not exactly going to plan. Folks, this is your most valuable customer. To you, to your advertising, to anything that you do for acquisition. Your job is now to correct and help them. You give them straight up, this is the real deal. Step 1, avoid these 3 foods that seem healthy but are actually accumulating belly fat. And oh, by the way, here's the best 32 recipes for families with different eating styles. You are assuming that they're doing it because they are, and they've blown it. So now your job is to get them back on track. You are going to give them the tools to go from amateur to pro, and you're going to do it immediately without reservation. Okay. You are selling to a circumstance. Those 4 circumstances are what your marketing should be geared to address. But what are you selling? Right? So we've got the left side of the river, the right side of the river. There's sharks and alligators. There's the promised land. What, in fact, are we selling? That's right. We're selling them a boat. I know it's kind of funny, but think about it. Isn't your boat the thing that gets them across the river? Isn't that the thing that helps them get on the journey? Notice there were no Hare Krishna on the left side of the river, right? It was a nice bucolic land of maybe a little bit of confusion, but they need something that gets them past the sharks and the icebergs and the ill-tempered sea bass with laser beams attached to their foreheads. That's what you are selling. And your boat has cool shit. First, it has features, advantages, and benefits. So let's talk about this. Anybody here white label? I don't understand. You told me in your sale. Okay, so guess what? When you white label, you can make shit up, which is cool because there's this other company that does this to great success. So let's play a little game here, guys. Can anybody tell me what a 336 pixels per inch super AMO LED display is? That's right. They call it the Retina display. Damn, that's clever. And a lie. How about IEEE 1394 serial data cable? Anyone? Right, Firewire. How about this? 2-channel, 10 gigabits, multi-format, input-output. Thunderbolt. How about the 8-signal adaptive I/O interface? Lightning. White label. You can make shit up. Thank you. My point is simply that this is a lot of fun, right? We can create our own particular feature and give it something snazzy. And the interesting thing about something like Retina display is, I don't know if you guys know this, anyone here have a Samsung Galaxy S4? Right, so the Retina, biologically speaking, is the most sophisticated optical device on the face of the planet. Apple decided that their product was the most sophisticated optical device on the planet. The Samsung kicks its ass, except the Samsung doesn't have a pithy little feature called the Retina display. They call it the Super AMO LED display. Yeah. So, features are a lot of fun. And let's actually talk about features and advantages, because this is what you guys are really good at, right? So, feature. This car comes equipped with an airbag safety system. Fantastic. Great. That's easy, right? Everybody can make that statement about their car. Everybody can make a feature statement about their product. Here's the advantage statement. I've seen yours work, guys. You're really good at this, too. In the event of a severe impact, the airbag will automatically deploy a cushioning system to protect its occupants. That's the advantage, right? That's some beginning of some good copy, some kick-ass copy. Ray Edwards isn't in the room, right? Ray, shut up. Say nothing. I'm not done. But here's where you guys space out. Not on purpose. It's the heat and humidity and my voice. You forget to talk about the benefit to the customer. And this is really important, and I don't know why we miss this. This airbag will save your life. Why wouldn't we include that? It's really cool that the cushioning system comes out, and I'm sure we're excited to see it as we go barreling into the semi-truck. I'm excited to see if that shit works. I'm more excited about saving my children's lives. Can I get a witness? So let's talk about making sure that we have benefits in our statements. Because part of selling your boat means them understanding the promise. But in your boat, there is one more vital component. Let me ask you guys a question. Does any of this look familiar? Because we're going to come back to that vital component in a second. I'm going to cliffhanger you, because he just yawned, and I'm offended. I have a laser, motherfucker. Does any of this look familiar, right? The why, the what, the how, the now. Anybody else? Anything like, spider senses tingling? It should. It's why you're here. Dun, dun, dun. After 14 years of e-business and $100 million in marketing sales, this method is unbreakable. I know it looks cute with smiley faces. Guys, this is all I do. This is how I write. This is how I sell. This is how I do product launches. In fact, let's put it to the test. How else can we use it? Any guesses? How about an email follow-up series? Email number 1, why? Email number 2, what? How? Now. Do you think that that would be logical? Do you think that they would be looking forward to the next communication that you gave them before or after they buy your product? Yeah. You say it, girl. Bring it right on. Like, because he's yawning and you're not. Take off your clothes. Here's the other unbreakable thing about this. It works globally on a per engagement basis, but it also works in the context of the copy itself. So think about email, or I don't know, does anybody know anybody that knows anything about the video making? What about our script or our email or our sales letter or our opt-in page? Why, what, how, now? Open premise, why it's important, how you can do it, call to action. Seems to work there too. Okay, well, how about this? Why? Your ad, your pay-per-click, your retargeting ad, your Google listing. The what? How about your squeeze page? Tell them what it is. The how about that's in your free report? And then the now, how about that's the sales video that they see on the thank you page that they just signed up for? Do you think that would work? It does. You're all here. Or we come now to it, this. Anybody recognize this? Please say yes. God, that or I'm in the wrong room. Do you think that you could potentially make your marketing of your products better if you decided to break them up like this? I don't know. I could be wrong. And now for the last. Your boat needs a captain. You've got your features, advantages, and benefits. Your boat's awesome. It's got flames, supercharger, hydrofoil, lasers. Everything has lasers, I'm just saying, okay? It's badass. But it also needs a captain, right? And that captain is you. The captain is awesome. You wanna know why? Because the captain has been on the voyage. The captain knows where the iceberg sharks, kraken, gators, and Hare Krishna are. The captain knows the shortest and safest route. The captain knows how the boat handles. And the captain has the most valuable attribute that you can possibly give to your customer. Would you like to know what that is? Do you want to know what it is or what? Well, you're going to have to endure a story now. You're very bad. Okay. This is Abigail. Abby is 5 years old, and right now she's giving what her mother and I call Abitude. And for those that know me very well, if you could ever imagine a child that results from my household, Abigail is it. And, here's Abby, who has just discovered my drumsticks signed by Neil Peart from Rush. And she's decided that they have other functions and uses. And you can see here that she's getting ready to experiment. Here's Abby in one of her 18,347 princess dresses, who has decided that it was a good idea to drag a sea creature from the Pacific and show us all about it. And so, as a 5-year-old, as a parent, you come to that time where it's time for them to go to school. And boy, let me tell you something, her grandparents let us have it. They stood there saying, ha ha ha. My dad's like, oh, son. My mom's like, ha-ha, motherfucker, now you know what it's like. And she starts singing, she's leaving home, goodbye, Abigail. And Sarah and I are like, are you kidding me? So you're very nervous sending your kid off to school for the first time into the world. And the thing is, on her first day of school, Abby did not have a great day. You see, what happened was Abby, in her exploration, unsanctioned by her teacher, ran into a small boy named Carter in a different classroom. Carter is blind, and that simply did not compute for Abigail. She didn't understand it. She came home upset. She couldn't understand how he could function. It doesn't make any sense to her. And so when Sarah and I would go pick her up from school the following days, we would see that she started to become isolated. She wasn't sitting with the other kids. And it got worse. She started to isolate herself at home. This was going on for a couple of weeks, and we started to consider maybe it was time to pull Abigail out of school and send her somewhere else because she just continued to isolate herself. And then one day, Sarah and I went to school, and we couldn't find her. So we ran to Mrs. Vick, her teacher, and told her what had happened. And if I lose my shit, I'm sorry. Mrs. Vick immediately called the security, and they locked down the school. And I will never, ever forget when she said, possible Amber Alert, be prepared. So we ran around the school looking for Abby. And then off in the distance, I thought I saw her. And she was sitting with somebody that I'd never met before. My wife runs, and I say, stop, wait a minute. Let's just be clear, let's be sure. And as we get closer, I can hear Abby talking, and it's her. And closer still, I can see her motioning, and then I recognize that it's Carter, the blind boy. And then when I got into hearing distance, I realized that Abby was describing what a tree looked like, but with her eyes closed, to the little blind boy. Don't ever disregard the perspective that you have that you can give to your customer, because it is priceless. I know we're live streaming, and I know she's at home. Thanks, little girl. I very much enjoyed being here. Thank you guys very much for having me, and I hope that you got something out of it besides a look at my underwear. And I'm happy to take questions. And if you want the slides of the presentation, you can get them at videogenesis.com. You don't have a microphone, do you?
I have a microphone.
The captain piece, are you like, I have a professional credentials, and I was wondering about using them in the description of the product as a, a sort of captain idea. Can you elaborate on that?
Are you selling you?
No, I'm selling a product that I would recommend as a professional.
Then your job is to provide the perspective of why you, as somebody that has devoted your life to this cause, why you think this product is important. Perspective is, listen, here's the thing, your perspective is gold. People don't want to just know what the product's going to do when you plug it in. People also want to understand what it's like to use it. It's called ownership experience. And in the process of an ownership experience, what happens is you're going to screw up, or you have screwed up. You know as much what to do as you know what not to do. Who doesn't want to not waste time anymore? As the professional, as the credentialized person that has discovered this product, you can say, it has been my experience that if you use it this way, this is going to save you time, increase your performance, heighten your outcome. This is how you could use it in a specialized circumstance. Let's pretend that I was boisterous and an egomaniac. Well, hey, if you're reading this book and you're a boisterous egomaniac, maybe think about, instead of using a yellow highlighter, use a pink one because you're a badass. My point is simply that you want to provide the perspective that you have as somebody who has invested whatever amount of time to discover why this product has value for the customer. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thanks
cool.
a lot.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Did that make sense to you guys? Yeah? Okay. Oh, hi. Wow.
Hey, Andy, I wanted to say thanks. That was a great presentation. And being a father of a 4-year-old, that story was really touching. That's not my question.
Sort of really touched. Honey, he didn't mean it. You're
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But my question more is to do, I'm 20 years out of university, and I didn't do a marketing degree, but however, we had marketing add-ons, and they talked about feature and benefits, and I remember that from that course. And I guess my question for you is why do companies not talk about benefits? Like they have, like everyone that does marketing gets told that, do benefits. And yet
Because they
don't
suck,
do it.
dude. Go get them. Yay, let them not talk about benefits. You know who right now, the biggest company in the world, has a long form sales letter? Any guesses? Apple Computer. Apple Computer knows how to market. So here's my point. We don't have to do what everybody else that sucks does. We do what the people, is Apple the most valuable company in the world? The most valuable company. You know who's right behind them? Amazon. So my point is simply this. Is that what it is? Amazon? Would I just imagine that? My blood sugar is so low. They don't do it because it's hard to do. It's personal, right? So the benefit of me losing a bunch of weight is I can look good naked.
He looks really good naked.
Listen, that's the truth, right? It's hard for us to hit the benefit on the head. Why do we want to lose weight? At the end of the day, we want to look good naked. We want to look good with as few clothes on as possible. We want to shop at White House Black Market instead of Burt's Big and Tall, right? We want bespoke suits instead of something that comes off the rack at Ross Dress for Less. My point is simply that we need to understand when writing these benefits what the person actually wants as a result of being skinny, rich, full, healthy, whatever it is that we want to do. So I don't know why, I can't speak for bad marketing, but I know that we can do better.
Okay, can I just do one quick follow-up?
Can is he allowed to do that?
Just really quick.
Are you guys okay with that?
I'm doing the weight loss supplements too, and if you're dealing with
Are you a Garcinia Cambrosia fan?
Yeah. Yep.
No, man. So I read the forums.
Yeah. So I guess my follow-up would be, if you want to shed light on someone who is overweight, how do you do that without offending them?
Without offending them? Do you think they not know that they're overweight?
Yeah. Well, there's so
they're
much
not your
denial.
customer. Hey, look,
Yeah.
you know what? There's, besides circumstance number 1, there's circumstance 0.5. Circumstance 0.5, you see them on this website called The People of Walmart. Obviously, you know, that's not your customer base. You cannot save the world. Here's the thing about marketing, okay? I'm gonna make a conservative estimate. 66% of people in this marketplace hate my guts. Thank God, that's less that I have to advertise to them. 15% don't know what to think. Awesome, they could come over to the dark side. 5% think I'm pretty cool. About 2% think that I'm awesome and call me the boss. That's worth $10 million a year to me. I don't need much of a market to know what they want in order to kick ass. Can I get a witness? Hallelujah. When I get fired up, you need to smile a little bit. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
my man. Does that answer your question? Or do
Yes.
you want to
very
sneak
much.
in another one? No? Okay, good.
Thank you.
My man,
Andy.
that shirt.
Well, I'm black, so I can wear stuff like this.
My man, you're a very good looking
You're
man.
an honorary black guy.
Does he look good naked too? You would know, slut. Semper Fi.
I'm a little confused with the targeting thing because our product is one that is for athletes and guys like you or old people.
Did you just call me an athlete?
Yeah.
It's the best day ever.
So, but you're also saying don't target like that. So I'm a little confused. How, are you saying don't do the
What does the athlete want? What does your product give the athlete? What's the promised land for them after they use the product? I'm asking.
pain relief? So they got pain
Fantastic.
relief for them.
That's exactly right. Are you in pain as a result of your elite performance as an athlete? Yeah, sure. We can identify who they are, but they already know who they are. It's just like the people of Walmart, they don't know that, they could use, I don't know, a shit ton of Garcinia Cambrosia and everything else. Probably some Drano, but my point is simply, it was terrible. This is going out to, Abby, honey, I didn't mean it. I have 3 kids, by the way, with number 4 on the way. So I'm screwing up a generation for the purposes of this.
But are you saying so if you're doing demographics,
don't do
25
demographics.
to 30, like when you pick.
No, stop.
Okay.
God. You don't do demographics. What is their pain? What is it from? What is the severity of it? How does it keep them up at night, right? Where did it come from? Why is it reoccurring? These are circumstances. Being an athlete is not a circumstance. That is a career. That's what they happen to do to either, I don't know, pretend that they have a living, or it's what they have to do because they never left high school. But who cares? What is their circumstance? Yes, you can indicate that doing a particular activity that might be considered to be athletic is the root cause of their pain. They don't care. They want you to fix them.
But if you're doing, okay, a specific example, say Facebook advertising or YouTube, where you pick, this age group and this group, are you saying to not pick any of those?
No, you can do that if you want to. But that's just segmentation of what marketplace is looking at it. Your ad's message has to be to the circumstance, right? And listen, by the way, you don't have to always go to Facebook with circumstance number one. It's red. What's happening? Everybody, we might have to leave.
Say one more bad thing.
One more bad thing? I've used up my limit. Fuck yeah.
Yo.
You don't have to go to the market with just circumstance number one. You can go to the marketplace, your ad can be circumstance number two or circumstance number three. Circumstance number one is, how's your cholesterol, buddy? How you looking in the mirror? Circumstance number two is, understand that plant-based food is the answer to reverse cancer and heart disease. Circumstance number three, exactly what you need to know to instantly become a plant-based vegan with no political agenda. Circumstance number four, it's blinking now. Who's on after me?
I am
Circumstance number four is, here are 52 recipes that you can make not shopping at Whole Foods, but going to the Target Superstore, right? It's your advertising is gonna be about what you anticipate their circumstances are. I understand your question now. It took a while. I'm slow.
Okay, thank you.
Low blood sugar. But yes, in Facebook, when you're picking age groups, you know what? For each one of your circumstance campaigns, same ad, start at 18 to 24. All that is a way for you to compartmentalize campaigns.
Thank you.
My man, you're a beautiful black man.
I'm going to actually allow this to go into my presentation. That's, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. No,
No, I'll touch
don't
you.
touch. No. I just want to clarify something because
This is a big deal, because you want to talk about egomaniac. I'm surprised that this has not collapsed and this has burst into flame. Yeah, you didn't like that very much. This is his wife right here, by the way.
That's my wife right there.
It really is.
Should she stand up?
She should. You know why? She's Canadian. As is my wife.
All right. She
When
is so pissed off at me right now. I just, okay. What I wanted to ask, because I don't want to have to go in and edit my presentation here, when you're talking about demographics, I assume what you mean is once you know the circumstance, when you have like say for example, article marketing, you want to write a piece of content or even a press release, you have your circumstance, but you want to target, because for example, Garcinia Cambogia, if you're a 19-year-old kid that's just writing because your mentality is, the circumstance relating to you, but your target market, the people you're trying to sell to is the buyer who is this 35 to 45-year-old, the target market being female, don't you want to be able to take that but target the circumstance to match that?
Listen, what you're talking about is an insertion order, more or less. The context of where am I putting this ad? What I'm talking about is what does it say?
Perfect. Okay.
Right?
I just wanted to clarify that.
And listen, I'm never going to go against what Matt says because we actually are on the same page.
My name's Jason anyway, but
I said I'm never going to go against what Matt says because we're on the same page. Jason, on the other hand.
Yeah. So just to clarify something, you're a trained killer?
I don't like to talk about it that much. I don't want you to ever be
Okay, I just
intimidated
don't want
to
to
talk
correct
to
you
me.
because I think you could kill me.
Because
but
you're
I just-
Canadian.
yeah.
And your apology
All right,
will set me
I'm
right
sorry,
over
we're
the
not
edge.
taking any more questions now.
Oh, you've. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Andy. I'm fine, thank you.
Just fine though? Just fine?
Well, I'm great.
Better now?
Yeah.
All right.
great.
Okay.
Actually, I'm
Do you
a
wanna see me naked?
longtime fan of yours since StomperNet. There. What I'm taking away from what you're saying, or really how you could help me, is that different benefits speak to different audiences, and that what I'm saying is sometimes I have the feeling when I'm writing a product description that what may be a benefit to one person is not a benefit to somebody else. And it's generally probably a value thing.
Here's the trick.
Okay.
You have to know that your benefits are, in fact, going to have different levels of value depending on the person that reads it. So can somebody please raise their hand here who is under 25 with no children? Okay, cool. Can somebody please raise their hand that is older than that with children? All right, so two different demographics, right?
Yeah.
Lose weight is going to appeal to one person differently than another person, for sure, right? But having said that, they are all here, and many of them have said that they want to lose weight. So what is the biggest upside? But you should never try to sell a product from a single benefit perspective, right?
I'm understanding that.
Okay, you're good.
I understand that.
All right.
All I'm saying is I'm selling a product that has very different features, let's say, for lack of a better word. And some of those features may turn somebody off.
Tough. Then they're not your right customer.
Okay.
Listen, guys, try to serve the world, serve no one.
Okay.
That's it. Try to serve the. Imagine if I tried to be not me, right?
Okay.
Then there's some good things about being me. I have no competition. It's not great or good, it's just a fact. But here's my point. Who cares? Who cares? 1% of my marketplace makes me a multimillionaire. 1% of my marketplace makes me a multimillionaire. You can't be worried about that. People self-qualify. They're smart. They're smart because they're in pain, which means they're a little bit desperate, which means they lower their standards a little bit. Ha ha! We got them, girl. We're going to defraud them. Let's let the defrauding begin. That's how we get them, by the way. Does that make sense?
I'm going to have to
To an
cut
extent,
it.
yeah.
Yeah? Guys, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you guys. Okay? Thank you.